accent, so be fairly similar to what we've got here then. I mean, the car we've got, the SL63, it's obviously the AMG, so it's got a 6.2 litre V8.
Yeah.
It's producing about 525 horsepower.
Right.
All that horsepower going to the rear wheels, so a little bit different to the Skoda. But the gearbox very, very similar to the DSG. It's a twin clutch semi-automated gearbox.
Yeah.
7 speeds, so very similar. Just basically pre-selects the next gear and then just flicks between the 2 gears. So what we'll do, might as well head on out. We get a little bit of a feel for it.
Okay.
So hazard lights on. Box basically pretty much the same thing. It's just on the Mercedes it's gated, so you have to go right, down and left to go into reverse, and then all the way down to go into drive. So it's just a little bit different.
Okay.
But other than that, works pretty much the same way. So let's head on out.
Is it okay at some point in time try the paddles as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was going to say, if there's anything you particularly want to do, shout out, we go do it.
Okay.
Not a problem. That's it. Straight on down that way. Cloud's looking friendly, but we're normally quite lucky with the weather here. Whereabouts are you based? Are you fairly local?
I live in Church Crookham near Fleet.
Okay. Yep. So a bit of a trip up the A3.
Yeah.
Hazard lights. So we'll make our way down the main access road. We tend to keep the speed down here to about 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Reason being, it's just we use it for our young drivers. So we tend to keep to the rules of the road. So we indicate. And we just give priority, usual things, so it gives the kids a good experience. And we don't have to behave ourselves. I got told off the other day by an 8-year-old for crossing my hands on the steering wheel. So the problem is we're teaching them to be such good drivers, they're now telling us what to do.
Okay.
So to start off with, then what we'll do is get a little bit of a feel for the SL63. It's really one of the most extreme AMGs we've got. It's quite wide, quite low, very, very powerful, one of the most powerful 63s. So a little bit to adapt to. So we'll start off just getting a flavour for it. So we'll take a left, just where that tall barrier is, and we'll start off on the smaller of the 2 road courses, and we'll just get a little bit of a feel for a few differences. So left again, and we'll follow it round clockwise. I tend to try and do is spend the first sort of half an hour just really getting a feel for the car, getting dialed into it, looking at the systems, seeing how the systems, the electronics work.
Yeah. Because
all the while you're doing that, you're building confidence in the car.
Yeah.
And then I tend to look at a little bit more at handling dynamics, the skid pan, the track, and that side of things. First things first, I'll talk you through a few things you'll find different with the AMG. Firstly, the steering. It's going to be a little bit heavier than it would be on the equivalent, say, SL500 or SL600. 2 reasons for that. One is we've got the bigger wheels and tyres, so that naturally creates a little bit more drag anyway.
Yeah.
The second thing is we do take away a little bit of the power assistance just to give you a bit more feel for what's happening at the road. And that's something we'll look at quite a lot over the next hour, is you're really going to build up not just a feel for the kind of messages that the car's sending back to you, but also an idea of how you interpret that and what it all means. So you've got 3 points of contact with the car: the steering wheel, the pedals and the seat.
Yeah.
That's where you get all the information from, and we're really going to be learning how to interpret that and what all of that information means. Next thing then that's different, we've done the steering, is going to be the brakes. This would be a 200 mile an hour car if we took the speed limiter off it, so electronic limited like all the others to 155 miles an hour, but it would be easily able to do 200 miles an hour. So we've got brakes to match. The front brakes are over 380 millimeters in diameter. They've got 6 piston racing calipers on them, 4 piston racing calipers at the back. So the power they've got is phenomenal. So again, to try and stop you going through the windscreen every time you hit the brakes, we've taken away a little bit of the power assistance. So when we step things up in a minute and have a bit of a look at the performance of the car, when you want it to stop, you really do have to put some energy through that brake pedal. Now the final thing really is the gearbox. As we said, it's the twin clutch system, very similar to the DSG. We call it MCT. And it comes with 4 gearbox modes, well actually 5. We've got Comfort, Sport Plus, Manual and Race Start modes. Now the main mode, you'd be glad to know that we're looking at really is just Sport Plus mode. It's the most aggressive gearbox mode we've got. It does 3 things really. It changes the way the gear shift pattern works, so it will shift a little bit later, shifts down a little bit sooner for you when you come down the gears. But the other two things it does is it really speeds up the shift time. So when it changes gear, you hear it just thumps the gears through.
Yeah.
It just literally switches across the clutches. Very, very quick gear shift. And the other thing it does is it makes the throttle a lot more responsive. And that, I think, is the bit that you really notice.
Right.
If I put it into comfort mode, feel how much softer the car is on the throttle. Can you feel that? It's a lot softer on the throttle. You have to push a lot harder to actually get the car moving.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not here to truck it, so put it back into Sport Plus mode. But it's just really highlight the differences that the gearbox modes make, because you tend to think it just changes the shift program, but it doesn't.
It certainly is different.
Now, one more thing that I'll go through since we're in the SL is the suspension system. Now, it's full air suspension that we've got in the SL, and we've got a sport mode that's currently engaged. Now, what that does is sport mode basically is what we used to call active body control. It eliminates any body roll or any body movement. So you'll notice there's no roll as we corner, no pitch as you brake, no squat as we accelerate.
Yeah.
Now let me turn it off and see if you can feel the difference. You feel a little bit more movement in the body of the car now as we corner. Do you feel it? It's a little bit slower on the steering, a little bit more body roll in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, it moves around.
Yeah, it does. It gives you a little bit more feel, but it moves around a lot more. So what sort of driving have you done before?
None of the experiences.
Okay.
Never.
No sort of ice driving, anything like that?
Well, I did my license in Finland because I'm Finnish.
I was going to say, I could just... Your accent's amazing. Have you been in the UK for a long time?
I've been here for 8 years, and my English has always been pretty good. So
wow.
people, it usually takes a while for people to pick that up.
Yeah.
And then ask, where are you from?
Yeah.
But yes, when I was 18, and my birthday is in January, so I did my driving license in Finland during the winter time.
Awesome.
In a BMW 3 Series.
Real drive.
So that was quite exciting.
Oh yeah. Wow.
But I didn't drive much in Finland because before I moved here, I didn't own a car because I didn't need one. So I just did the occasional driving in my dad's car or something like that.
Yeah.
But I suppose I'm sort of fairly used to slippery conditions.
Brilliant. Well, we spend a bit more time on the skid pad then.
I'm interested to see if there's any.
Yeah.
If that helps me.
It always surprises me actually how. I mean, anyone from Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, they tend to be very, very good when it comes to the ice driving.
Yeah.
A lot of birds. Oh, that's interesting.
But yeah, definitely nothing even remotely close to this kind of car. So it's pretty amazing stuff.
So what is it you do?
I work for Nokia and I do internal IT for them.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. And I've already worked for them for 14 years.
Really, as long as that?
Quite a long time, yeah. It was sort of my first proper job out of university.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you're leaving without the paddles, it actually does a very good job for an automatic box.
It's very, very
It's
good.
a very good job.
I'm not really missing the paddles at all.
No, we'll do it on the bigger circuit. We'll play with the paddles.
Yeah.
What we'll do now then is I was getting to do quite a good job there. I was getting quite relaxed. Let's go look at the performance a little bit then. So we'll head round to the left where the tall barrier is where we came from.
Yeah.
Fortunately, a few less birds on the other track. And we'll just get you a little bit of a feel for that, because I think it'd be quite good fun to have a go with the race start mode as well, which is kind of launch control. Yeah, you can go around the barrier that's down. Don't worry too much about that. So we'll take a right. That's it, back down the main road. And we'll go and spend a little bit of time in the old Brooklands runway area. It's what we call now the dynamic area. We'll take a left. You see where the blue and white barriers are? There's a little gap where the orange cones are. We'll just take a left in there. and we're going to go do some acceleration and some braking to see how quick the car is. So head round to the left. See, yeah, let me get told off. And round to the left. That's it, keep going left.
Oh, sorry.
That's it, that's all right. And we use the top end of the runway, and we'll just stop between the right hand two cones, that's it. And what we're going to do when I say go, just want you to accelerate away hard as you can, and keep accelerating basically till you hear me say brake. And then when I say brake, we're probably going to be at motorway speed, so about 75 miles an hour. Hit the brakes hard as you can, so I want emergency stop from 75 miles an hour. So just basically keep going till you hear me say stop. Let's go, let's do it.
Alright. Any time?
Yep, any time. Good. So it doesn't need too much traction control. Second already into third. Brake. Good. And the brakes on it, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's not actually ABS.
Is it not?
Nope, you'll appreciate this.
Wow.
It's computer controlled braking, basically. So sharp round to the left, and we'll follow the main road back round. Yeah, it's basically a system we call SBC, and it's entirely brake-by-wire. So it's like the throttle, where there's no physical connection between the throttle pedal. It's all done by electronics. So what it means is that the system, the computer basically senses how hard you put down the brake pedal, how far you put it down, and how quickly, and guesses the amount of braking that you want.
Yeah.
So we'll take a left back in. We'll do that once more. Basically, what it will do is, whereas ABS pumps the brakes on off very, very quickly, the SBC is able to have much more control over each wheel. So it actually just modulates the pressure. So rather than going on off, it just comes off a little bit, then on a little bit, and that's why you don't get that vibration.
The sort of wild shuddery thing.
It's just like the car's almost floating.
Yeah.
And it's a weird feeling because it doesn't, it's stopping as quickly as possible, but it just doesn't feel quite as solid as an ABS system.
Yeah.
And that's why the only two cars we have that system on are the SL and the CL, because they're the heaviest and they're not as high volume as a C-Class or an E-Class.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people find the system a bit weird to get used to. So we just put it on the SLs, but that's why it felt a little bit different.
Yeah.
So let's do it once more normally, then we're going to come back and do it race start mode. Let's go for it. Let's do it. Good. Brake. And you feel that difference. It's just the pedal doesn't kick; it just goes solid.
Yeah, it doesn't kick at all.
And then it's just the car just slides around.
Yeah.
So
it's fantastic.
we'll head on round and have a go at the launch control. Now it's you definitely need to have a degree in IT to be able to work out the launch control. So you can help me out with it. But it's basically going back to old-fashioned F1 technology, because the original F1 cars, when they had traction control in the early 90s, it actually operated through the clutch.
Right.
So it kept the engine at full power, and it just slipped the clutch to let the power go through to the rear wheels. It's actually slightly more efficient traction control.
Yeah.
Modern F1 cars, you can't do that because of the clutches and the gearboxes. So they use the more traditional, which we've also got in this that you felt working there.
Yeah.
So the traditional kind of traction control that just cuts the power and puts the brakes on.
Yeah.
So we'll head round to the left, and we'll get ourselves into race start mode. And so it's a bit of a weird one. So first things first, put your left foot on the brake. So hold us on the brake with your left foot. We then go into ESP Sport mode, gives us a little bit of slip on the wheels. I then turn this, that will then let us go into race start mode.
Yeah.
Click on the right hand paddle, so that's it. Now put your right foot to the floor and keep it there. And let go with your left.
Okay.
Go for it. Do you feel it? It just controls it all with the clutch.
Yeah.
And brake. Good.
Brakes are amazing.
That's why they've got two, Mara. And round we go. You're saying we're going to wear the clutch out. So don't worry about two. So yeah, it just gives you perfect start every time. Could you feel it? Just holding the revs, 3,800.
I didn't really pay attention.
Well, let's give it another go.
Okay.
It's really, really good system.
Okay.
It's interesting to see how Kimi Räikkönen got on the Rally Finland. He was doing amazingly well.
He was doing very, very well. I mean, only a couple of seconds off the pace per kilometre.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Very, very good.
10 class guys, so
yeah, he was flying. Right, there we go.
Left foot on
left
the
foot on
brake.
the brake, that's it. RS mode, right paddle up, right foot to the floor. You see it just holds the revs and then just let go of the brake. And then you feel it just holds the clutch.
Yeah.
No traction control at all. And then it just hits the gears and brake.
Wow.
So nicely warmed up now.
Yeah.
And then that just automatically goes back into Sport Plus mode. So it just you don't have to then do it manually.
Yeah.
It will just do it automatically for you. Because the idea of the Sport Plus mode when you're accelerating, just doing a run like that, is it knows exactly when it's going to get to the rev limiter, so you can shift it exactly the right moment. Well, what we'll do then is, since you've got a little bit of ice driving experience, let's do it. Let's head over to the ice. So we'll start off on the straight, and then we'll go onto the skid pan. So we'll take a left, and we're going to head down onto the ice surface. And it's normal water that we use just to make it a little bit more slippery. What makes it so slippery is a paint that we put down. It's a silicone paint that's incredibly slick when it's wet. So let's head down, and we're just going to stop at the beginning of that ice surface. And what we're going to do is have a little bit of a challenge between you and the traction control system.
Right.
So what I want to do now is we've done the acceleration and braking run there. What I want to do is the same sort of thing here, but we're going to do it on the ice. So head forward till we're just on that wet patch, so we're between the two sprinklers. That's it, that's perfect. So I'm going to start off making it difficult for you. We're going to turn off the traction control and stability system.
Right.
We normally never do it on the road, but gives us a little bit of a chance of pulling the ice surface. So what we'll do is, when I say go, just again accelerate away as quick as you can. But of course, now you don't have any traction control. It's your right foot is your traction control. So too much power, the wheels will spin, and you'll be surprised how easily they spin. Too little, and we lose enough speed. And what I'll do is make a note of your speed, and then we'll see how fast you can go, and then we'll see how quick the traction control goes.
Okay.
So let's do it. A little bit of power. There we go. So 37 kilometres an hour we got up to. So let's go over to the stop sign. We'll take a right back down the main road, and we'll have a little bit of a look and see what the traction control system can do.
Yeah.
And the idea is you tend to see the traction control systems and all the electronic systems as being there to sort of spoil your fun, but the idea is they're there to help you go as quick as you possibly can in the situation or on whatever surface that you're on. So it's obviously to make you go safer as well. And the nice thing with the systems is they don't have to, we don't have to think. We can just be as brutal as we like with the throttle and do it all for us. So we'll see how he goes. So that was what, 37 kilometres an hour to beat. The reason I'm doing it kilometres an hour actually is two reasons. One, it's a little bit more accurate because it's digital, and two, it's the only thing that I can see.
Okay.
So we'll head down, do the same thing again. This time with the benefit of the traction control system. So this is the full system now switched on. And we'll see how it goes, and then we can have a little bit of fun and try doing the race start mode on the ice.
Okay.
Right, that's perfect. So when you're ready,
let's
go, and you can go hard as you like. And you feel it keeps it right on the limit, but it doesn't let the car slide. Absolutely on the limit.
Yeah.
Good. 44 kilometres an hour. So beats you by, what's that, 4, 5, 6, 7 kilometres an hour. So breeze, what's that, nearly 20% quicker. And that's the idea of the systems, is it's safer, it's easier to control, but it's quicker as well. That's why they put it on F1 cars. It wasn't to spoil the driver's fun, so make them go quicker.
Exactly.
And it's the same really on these cars. It's there for safety and really just to make the car efficient. So let's go around to the right, and just for a bit of a laugh, let's try race start mode on ice. And I don't always do this actually, but it's quite good fun. And it's interesting to see, we've got 37 kilometres, 44 kilometres. Let's see how race start mode gets on. And it's quite funny because, of course, to begin with, the car doesn't know you're on ice, so it's all ready to go. Drops the clutch, and then suddenly goes, whoa, that's slippery.
Yeah.
That's it. So, same thing, sport
Left
mode,
foot.
left foot, restart mode, there we go, feel that bit. And then right pedal, foot down. Here we go. It's going to start off really enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And then it's like, whoa!
Poor thing, trying to figure it out.
So, can you see exactly between the two, 41 kilometres an hour.
Ah, okay.
So 37 you managed, 41 race start, 44 the full traction control.
Okay.
So it works out quite neatly.
That's fun.
Excellent, so let's go around to the right. Is have a little bit of a look now at some dynamics. So we're going to start off doing it on the ice. So seeing how the car handles. We're basically going to do a slalom. So we're going to weave round on the ice surface and just see how we get on with that. So let's take a right back in. And the SL's a little bit tricky to drive because it's quite wide, fairly short, so it means you do have to be quite quick with it.
Right.
So we'll head down, we'll stop back on the ice surface, and what I'm going to do is put the stability system into sport mode, so it gives you a little bit of slide, just for you to get a bit of a feel for it. Because what we're going to do is start off from a stop, and I want you to just turn left, a little bit of power, slide the car, turn right, a bit of power, slide the car. We'll turn off the sport suspension to give you a little bit of movement in the car, just to feel how the momentum of the car changes it. So you can just turn and power, the back will slide, but if you just turn, that'll make it slide as well. So much as they do on the rally.
Okay.
In fact, it's called they call it a Finnish flick.
Yeah, it's Scandinavian flick.
Yeah, Scandinavian flick. You just turn it and go, and that's what we're going to look at. So let's practice it. First time round, let's give it a go. Just power, turn, use the power and the steering, and we'll have a little bit of a play with that. Good. And you'll feel a little bit of the system. Can you feel it? Lets you slide a little bit, but won't let you go too far. And just you feel the weight moving across the back axle.
Yeah.
As the weight shifts, you don't really need very much power to let it slide across at all. So we'll head back round. We're going to do that again, but we're going to turn the system off fully this time and see how you go without any systems on at all.
Okay.
And especially in the SL, it snaps. It does. It really, the weight just moves very quickly because it's quite stiff as well.
Yeah.
The weight moves very quickly across the back. And when we do the displays, whenever we do it in the SL, you've got to be quite quick. When you're sort of drifting one way and then you turn the other way, you've got to be very quick with the steering to catch it when it comes the other way. Quite like that colour. I think it's quite nice. It's a nice blue.
It is,
So ESP's coming off completely now.
Right.
Now give it a go. No help at all this time. That's good. And then you feel that normal tarmac.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's do that once more.
Okay.
And it does give you good preparation. So, okay, we'll go.
All right.
So we'll let me go. Because then what I want to do is have a go at doing a similar sort of thing but in dry, and just feel how the movement. You actually feel it more when you're on the dry than when you're on the ice, because the car's generating more grip, it's rolling more.
Yeah.
So you actually get those feelings, but more when we do the slalom in the dry. So we'll give that once more without the system on the ice, and then we'll do it with the system on the dry, because you'll be amazed. The grip this car has in the dry is amazing. You've already felt it a little bit around the track.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly grippy car. So systems coming up.
I was going to say I can imagine, but I probably can't.
Actually. That's it, yeah, let's do it. So now we're on the wet bit. you get confident with it, you do get confident very quickly. Very nice transition. Perfect. Couldn't have done it better myself. So brilliant. Let's take a right, and we'll go and try and do that then in the dry. And again, just feel how you get that body movement. Now, everything we've done so far is with that sport suspension off, so it's giving you a little bit of movement. So we'll do a couple of runs down the slalom in the dry with the same sort of thing, and then what we'll do is we'll turn it back on, and you'll feel what a difference in the dry it makes.
Yeah.
Because I tend to find in this, when it's wet or when you're on the ice, I turn the sport suspension off, because it does give you a little bit more grip.
Right.
I mean, that's why on the race cars, whenever it's, sorry, take a right, that's it. Whenever it rains, they go to wet settings, and that basically means softer springs, softer dampers.
Yeah.
So round to the left, and again we'll stop in the right-hand lane, and what we're going to do is basically weave in and out of the yellow discs.
Yeah.
So similar sort of thing, but we're just going to do it obviously in the dry, a little bit more speed, and just feel how the car moves now. You've got more grip, because this will help you out when we go out onto the track. So we'll do this a couple of times just with the sport mode off.
Yeah.
Then we'll put it back on, and you'll really feel what difference it makes.
Okay.
Let's go for it. No set speed, just whatever you're comfortable with. That's it. A few hedgehogs we killed down there.
Yeah.
That's fine, it's good. And you build up confidence with it. Try slightly bigger sweeps. So just weave around a little bit more. Just gets a bit more movement through the body of the car, and just helps you just sort of push it a little bit harder. Because the idea is for you to sort of get a little bit of a feel for the limit of the car in the dry, well, dry-ish.
Yeah.
It's sort of kind of rainy.
Yeah.
But I tend to find actually in the heavier cars the rain affects them less, because they've just got a lot of weight pushing the tyres down, clearing the water out of the way. Straight through.
Didn't mean to do that.
That's Sport Plus mode, you're sharp. That's it. Bigger sweeps, that's it. Good. Now can you feel it working a little bit more? Good. Now can you feel the same sort of thing as that slalom we did on the ice, but we've got more grip. Just one hedgehog at a time.
Yeah.
So-
it takes a little while to.
Oh, it does. It's different.
Yeah.
Really, really different. It's amazing how quickly the car changes direction, how much grip it has.
Yeah.
It's the one that, I mean, we get used to driving them all, but this is the one that takes me just a little bit of time to get back into, because it's so amazing in the grip it's got.
Right.
So we'll do exactly the same thing again. This time I put that sport suspension on,
Right.
and I think you'll like it. It'll give you a little bit more confidence.
Okay.
Feel the difference?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a lot sharper. There's no rock at all.
That was great. Yeah.
Well, we'll do one more like that, and then we're going to go onto the skid pan proper and have a bit of a go around there.
Oh, that really was a big difference. Yeah.
It's a good system, but funny enough, I mean, some people, 50% of people prefer it off, 50% of people prefer it on. I prefer it on. I mean, I guess you feel the same.
I think so. Yeah.
But I think some people they can feel it a little bit more when it's switched off. So I think it's whatever you're comfortable with.
Taste.
But, yeah, I like it being stiffer. It feels like it's sort of a big 2-ton go-kart when it's just still on. Okay, let's go. Good, you feel the back end doing a little bit.
Fun now.
It's good, isn't it? And that's the thing, it gets you confident, it gets you comfortable. And I think that's the thing, is that before you go out on the big track and before you go out on the skid pad, you just got to be comfortable in it.
Yeah.
You got to be happy with what it can do. So, no, it's good. Let's go down. Let's go do the skid pad. We'll find out how good your ice skills are.
This will be interesting.
definitely. It's all the way down the end on the right hand side. It's good fun actually, because it does, especially in this, it's quite a steep learning curve. There's nowhere to hide, and in a way, as you know, on the ice, it's difficult because you've got to be so sensitive. You can't always feel what's going on because there's so little grip. So what we'll do, we'll just stop up on the left because we've got to wait for one of these cars to come off. A couple of rules that we have out on the skid pan. Basically, that's perfect. Firstly, we only have 2 cars out there at a time, so it gives you a little bit of space. Second thing is we try to keep a half a circle gap between us and the other car. So obviously when they spin, we spin, it just gives us room to stop. The other thing is if you feel the back wheels back into the car sliding, back wheels trying to go across the white lines, just hit the brakes as hard as you can. It stops the car stalling, because you notice it's slightly more matte, the finish of the tarmac. It's actually very, very high grip concrete that we've got inside and outside, just to sort of stop the car when it spins. So if you go off backwards, a bit like the E-Class, you see everyone's lights flickering as they have to restart the car. So what I tend to do is just push down on the brakes, and I've actually got a brake pedal down here, so I can give you a hand. And you tend to find it takes 2 people pushing on the brakes to try and lock the rears, because of course the brake bias tends to be on the front, because that's what tends to do most of the braking. So you have to push quite hard to do it, but I'll give you a hand with that.
I'll try to keep that in mind.
That's about it really. But it's quite interesting watching the other cars actually, because I mean essentially all you're trying to do when you're drifting is keep your front wheels parallel with where you want to go. So essentially the way I look at it is we've got the inside white line, you just keep your eyes on that inside white line, imagine where your wheels are and just keep them parallel with that white line. And it actually controls you around quite nicely.
Then use the power to...
exactly. It's you probably know it's as much about the steering really as the power. You really got to drive or steer the rear wheels with the power, with the steering wheel, because I think if you try to do it all on the power, it's very easy for it to get away from you and to spin. So it's just finding a balance. But the nice thing is the grip here now is quite consistent all the way around, so the grip doesn't really change like you would do. Okay, thanks. So it doesn't change like it would do if it was sort of real ice, where you sort of, it tends to be a little bit rippled and the surface changes. So it's nice and consistent. The E-Class is coming off next lap, so we'll. Sorry, the Estate is coming off next time, so we'll just shoot on after that. But it does, it does give you a good feel, and it's the right kind of diameter as well, because too tight it's quite difficult. Too open it's not much of a challenge. And it's definitely, you can do it, you can drift the whole way around. It's just, it's quite narrow for the cars. I mean, especially something like that E-Estate. I mean, when you see that drifting, when it's fully out, it's
quite big.
I mean, it's virtually the whole length. There's our twin, Blue SL. So we'll just wait for the other E-Class to go through. Brilliant. Let's go around to the left. Now, do you write with your left or right hand?
Right.
Excellent. So we're going the right way. It does make a difference, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Left-handers find it easier going the other way.
Well, obviously, for me, it's also difficult because of the way we go.
You drive on the other side.
Yeah, we drive on the other side.
So to start with, we'll just leave the systems on. Just have a little bit of a feel for the limit of grip. It. So even with the systems on, it can't break the laws of physics. Once you get enough momentum in the car, it can't quite pull it back. That's it. That's it. We'll hold. So what I'm going to do now is put you into sport mode. And it will let you slide a little bit further.
Okay.
And it gives you just a feel for just how easy it is to slide around here. You find it all coming back to you, because I suppose apart from earlier this year, you haven't had to do much ice driving.
No. go out on the road as much
No.
when that happened, because with the tyres you use here, it's...
Well, that's the thing, because for us it's a complete surprise. Every time it snows,
Yeah.
we don't know what to do. Do you use snow chains?
Studs.
Oh, you use studs, proper tyres. Good. Well, let's do it. Let's go the whole way. Let's
Okay.
take the system off. Go for it. Very nice. Amazing how good you guys are at it. Good save. That's not fair, you make it look too easy. Shouldn't be that easy. You obviously haven't forgotten me. That's good, and it's not that easy to do it in this either.
Yeah.
One thing that is difficult about all the Mercedes is that they've got a very, very good steering lock. So it means you can actually get the car at more of an angle than you could do in other cars where you start to run out of lock.
Yeah.
And it means that when you get right onto the big angles, the car's going so sideways, it's quite difficult to keep it going forwards. Can you feel that as you get more and more and more? You just can't quite keep it going.
No.
And that's it, that's as far as the wheel will go.
Oh, no, I'm starting to do much on the side, I think.
Well,
Nope, it's gone.
there's a weird feeling because you know it's not going to come
It's
back.
not gonna come back.
You just got to wait for it to go all the way around.
Oh, here we go.
That's pretty. You got to be pleased with that.
I'm
That's pretty
quite
good.
pleased with that.
That's pretty good.
That's, what did I do? Maybe sort of a quarter over.
No, you've
Maybe
done
not.
the whole thing.
I mean, not a quite full lap one.
Well, pretty much.
Nope. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone.